Hey, what's up guys? I'm still working on this real estate properties web scraping project, and now we're going for Switzerland based real estate properties at Immoscout24.ch. And it's going a little bit complicated because let's consider some sort of zip code in Switzerland, and I just go here with this show properties button. See the link that has been generated. So until here it's static, and it's pretty easy to mimic this. And the zip code is also kind of just as is, but also it contains some sort of a zip code label, which as I already discovered is being fetched from the API. And in this video we're gonna be exactly fetching this sort of labels from the API from Immoscout24.ch in order to be able to dynamically generate the links for every single possible postcode in Switzerland to crawl the entire site later on to scrape properties from. So if you're interested, then this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing in this video. So we're going to be scraping this zip code labels. So I have a list of Switzerland based zip codes, quite a lot of here, and if you just let me just show you how the API works here. So let me just try to get rid of all of this stuff here and update the page. And nope, I don't want this. Okay, now I just want to invoke my developer tools and go into the network tab, and here I'm supposed to see the API call when I'm actually writing this zip code. So this is it basically. And well, location, I'm not sure why. Let me have a look at this one. Yeah, so this is the response from the API. You see like this 5000 AA row being appeared, and this is the exact response we're supposed to be scraping. So just go back to the headers. Here we have, well, for some reason he didn't obtain the very last kind of digit here. Well, so if I just try to copy this, I guess copy and just try to paste the entire stuff, it doesn't give anything, right? Well, doesn't really matter that much because, okay, yeah, for some reason. Well, nevertheless, this string query parameter, oh, I'm sorry guys, my head is going a bit crazy. Okay, so we'll get this term string query parameter equals to 5000, and we'll get exactly the same response basically. I know for some reason API doesn't work as it was when I was initially writing this, but still, nevertheless. So we'll need this sort of a URL, which you see, oh my god. So it goes REST API.immoscout24.ch and blah blah blah. So this is the exact URL we're supposed to be scraping data from. So just grab this one, and I'm going to the current working directory where I am now, and I have a file called zipcodes.py there. So here we'll be writing the scraper's code. So I'm using Scrapy framework for this purpose because it's asynchronous and really fast, and Immoscout24 itself doesn't really have any restrictions regarding crawling delays or concurrent requests for downloading things. So it's really pretty nice. So well, let's actually start writing some code if you're interested in this stuff. So first we need to import some packages. So first we say import Scrapy itself, and let me think, what else will we need here? Okay, so probably from scrapy.crawler import crawler process just to invoke the spider itself. And here let's call this zipcodes scraper class, and define the class that would with the name of zipcodes, scraper, I don't know, well maybe just zipcodes is literally enough here. And it would inherit from scraper.spider, which is the general purpose scraper spider. We also need to provide the name, so here we can say scraper or the same, literally the same spider name. And let's call this Immoscout. Okay, like this. And let's also provide the base URL that we've just taken from our developer tools in the console, in the browser console. So base URL would be equal to this stuff. So I don't need this term, so let's consider this kind of stuff. Okay, also I would like to import URL-lib to being able to encode the string query parameters. In this particular example, it's not really necessarily needed, but when you have lots of parameters, it's always kind of handy to have this parameters being encoded from the Python dictionary. Okay, so before I define the crawling logic itself, let me just provide quickly the main driver here. So I say if name equals to main. In this case, we need to run scraper, and in order to do this, we need first to create the process variable that would contain the instance of crawler process, and then say process.crawl and the scraper or spider name. So in our case, this is zipcodes. So this one goes as a parameter, as an argument over here. And finally say process.start to actually invoke it. And now we can already test for any typos or things like that. So if I can simply say Python 3, how I call the zipcodes, zipcodes.py, I hope the scraper would actually kind of run. Okay, so it works. Great. And now let's actually start defining our crawling logic. Okay, also we'll definitely need to import JSON module to work with the JSON response and store the output respectively. So here we'll start with defining the crawler's entry point, and we have a standard def called start requests, which is a scraper spider default method, default entry crawler's entry point, basically, where the function that is called first to actually start all the crawling available within the spider itself. So it would only take the self parameter, the self instance as the parameter and nothing else. So now let me think. So we need to loop. So now we need to obtain, basically to obtain the list of our zip codes. So okay, so zip codes list, and here we create the zip codes variable that would be for now would be equal empty string, and now we need to open zipcodes.txt file, and here we say with open and the first argument zipcodes.txt, and we want to open the file to read the file stream as file like this, and for line in f.read we need to say zipcodes plus equals line, and here we say init zipcodes, so we simply say zipcodes. Well, let's first actually print this just to show you what exactly I mean by initializing. So we need to convert the string type to the list. So let's print the zip codes. It would give an error because the crawl start request doesn't crawl anything, but still I think we'll see the list of our zip codes basically. So now what we need to do here, we need to say zip codes equals zipcodes dot split, and we're splitting by the new line. And let's gonna try to see this again. Okay, so here now we have the list of all the available zip codes. Well, not all of them would be parsed, that's true, but still many of this would be actually, the most of them basically. Okay, and from now on we can actually start looping over the zip codes in order to make the request using the zip code itself as a string query parameter to this URL in particular. So here I say loop over zip codes, and I say for zip code in zipcodes. Before yielding a scrapey request, first let's specify the URL variable that would be equal self.base URL plus, and here we use our URL encode stuff. So I say URL lib dot parse dot URL encode, and we're using the Python dictionary here. So let me see how exactly it's called, term. So if we just scroll down a bit, we see the query string parameters. This is it's a term, and in our case we don't need this 500. It's just I don't know, like type ahead thing or stuff like that. We need just to pass our actual zip code. So here we say term, and the term would be equal to let's stringify the zip code itself. Okay, so I hope this would give us an appropriate link to crawl. So let's actually try to print our URL, and then we'll just break after the very first one to debug our data extraction logic basically. But before that, let's just run this again. Okay, and now let's try some random one. Well, it might not be available obviously, but still I hope it will be actually. So okay, well let's try this 5000, which is definitely available. So yeah, as I mentioned before, not all the zip codes are available for some reason. So here we'll need to fetch this label data. Okay, so let's actually break after the very first request, and now we actually need to make this request. So we can simply say yield and scrapey dot request. I don't even provide the well, I didn't provide the user agent in the initial script, but here maybe like just for the learning purposes, it would be nice to provide one. So let's have a look at the headers. Remote address, general I need request headers. Okay, user agent, this is it. So just copy this, and let's specify custom headers here, custom headers. So I say headers would be equal to, and paste all this stuff, home, so user agent, and like this. Okay, so and now we will be using these headers within our request, but first we need to specify the URL parameter, which would be equal to URL. So this is the argument name, and this URL is actually this variable. And then let's specify the headers that would be equal self.headers. Okay, and finally we need to specify the callback function as far as scrape is based on Twister Internet asynchronous non-blocking request library. So self.parse. So this function is called when the request is has returned the response basically. Okay, and here we say parse response HTTP, and def parse and it will take the self parameter as the self instance as the first parameter and the response object as the second. So let's simply try to print, and here I say json.dumps and response dot not exactly like this. So let's call this how to call this, basically the variable name. Calling the variable name in the variables is the most hard part. Okay, I didn't invent anything better than just to call this data. So data would be equal, it's always the reference to Commander Data from Star Trek, remember guys, like my favorite character, basically, not only mine, I believe. So data would be equal to json.loads. So here we say init response data as Python dictionary type, and okay, and here we provide the response.text as an argument, and here we can just to print this response we use JSON dumps method, and here we provide the data as the first argument and specifying the indentation as the second. And well, I guess now we should have get some response. Great. So here is our response, basically. So it's the list, so we need to use the very first element with the index of 0, and within that dictionary we need actually our label. But we can actually store the entire response as well. Probably, well, I'm not sure how exactly this should have been done. Well, probably as far as we need this, as far as we need to convert this to the lowercase and replace the space with dash here, and also provide the postcode keyword or keyword. I'm not sure how exactly call this static postcode word. So probably this would be the appropriate format for us. So let's actually do that as well. So now let's actually, so as far as we did already see the response, now let's extract the label. So we can simply say that label would be equal data first element index of 0, and then the key name label like this. And let's actually simply try to print our label, and let's make this again. Okay, here it is. And also what we need to provide here, so we need to say like postcode and then dash, right, and plus, and this needs to be, so this needs to be we need to say replace space by the dash, and also convert whatever is there to the lowercase. And let's try to print our label again. Okay, so postcode 5000 AA row. So exactly the same as we have over here. So from now on we can use this kind of converted zip codes with label names. We can use them later on in order to crawl the entire site Immoscout24.ch. So the very last thing left here is actually to store this response, and in Scrapey this can be done really simply by providing some couple of custom settings here. So custom settings, we have custom settings dictionary, which is pretty standard to this Scrapey spider base class which we're inheriting from. So we need to provide feed format that would be, well, you know, like this is nice if we want to, you know what, I will probably store both the initial output along with this converted label that we've just provided, just for the educative purposes. So feed format, let's consider JSON, and feed URI, let's consider let's call this postcode. Well, let's call this zipcodes.json, right? So, well, let's basically okay, hold on a second, and in order to so wait a minute. So here we say like store JSON response, and here we can simply say yield and yield data, right? And this should work already. I guess it would provide this zipcodes JSON. Okay, for some reason must return request, but got a list. Okay, sorry for this. Data 0 like this. So let's try again. Okay, maybe now. Great, so we just stored the entire stuff here, and also additionally to this we need to say like store and label URL. It's not the URL, but okay, let's just call this store label, and here we can simply say with open, and let's call this label.txt, and we want to write the file stream as file, and here we can simply say f dot, oh sorry, not write, we need to append this file, and here we simply say f write and the label plus the new line at the very end of this. So let's try this one more time, and I hope to see. Okay, label txt, and okay, I can't see really. Okay, let's the new line, but nevertheless, well, I guess if we just kind of remove, so let's basically remove this guys away. Okay, so I guess if we just now get rid of this break statement, it would start actually crawling through the entire list of the zip codes over here and providing the corresponding output. So I hold my breath and kind of running this. It goes really fast because of the 8 concurrent asynchronous requests with no download delay. Fortunately, Immoscout 24.ch does allow this. So let's have a look. Okay, so here is the list of our labels, which we'll be using as the URLs, as a part of the URLs to dynamically create the URLs to crawl through all the available postcodes within Immoscout 24.ch. And here we have the entire JSON output that contains all of the available data. If for some reason we'll need this, it seems like an internal ID for every postcode within Immoscout 24 site itself. Well, so it would take kind of some time, and I guess well, at the very end, well, also it gives some errors because not all available, not all the zip codes are available. So you might have encountered some sort of an errors here, but overall it just gives kind of all the results available. So like here, like you see the list index out of range. Well, that's simply because you know, like it wasn't able to crawl, or I'm not sure. Spider error processing. Let me just quickly check this link. Just during it's working. Let me just quickly check this as well. Yeah, so see, like if there is an empty response, it did return 200 response, but there is nothing actually there. So the very last thing to consider. Okay, so are we done? Great, we're done. So now we have 3000s, well, and 3193, so 3000 plus of Switzerland based zip codes, which is great, and literally the same should be, yeah, for this parts to formulate the URLs to crawl dynamically. And probably the one last thing here is actually, so which line does give us an error basically. Well, we can, you know, like we can wrap the entire part into try except statement. So try and accept and simply pass here. Okay. Save. And okay, so I just don't really want to ruin this file, so let me just try to rename them for a while. Rename and try to run again. So, oh my god, Python 3 zipcodes.py. Okay, so now it shouldn't really, yeah, it shouldn't give any errors anymore. Okay, let me just check this. Yeah, everything is just fine. So I just get rid of these guys. So it's better delete them one by one, and delete this one, and rename these guys back. So from now on, guys, you can actually make use of these files I've created in this video if you want to crawl the entire Immoscout24.ch for your own web scraping purposes, if any. So okay, let me just check this one last time. JSON. Okay, so it has to be 3000s. Okay, and here 3000s. Okay, yeah, great. So this is it. So I hope you've learned something interesting out of this video in particular, and I see you in the next one. Well, probably, I'm not really yet that sure, but I just want to make a little master class on how to scrape this Immoscout24.ch real estate properties site. I won't be going recursively into every listing as I already did on my actual job, but I will just cover the very basics, like try to extract all the available information from this sort of cards, and also we will try to handle pagination itself. So I guess this would be nice, and also probably we will try to make use of well, actually we can make use of this part of this, oh my god, of these labels we've provided. So probably I will cover this as well, but I don't promise you this, guys, so we'll see basically. So this is it from my side. I hope you've enjoyed this video. So thanks for watching. Until next time, and take care.